anyway, but now the point is like you could have a song and you could use those. Also, I thought the F sharp was cool. That was nice. Yeah. So maybe you could have a like. Imagine you had a line that went like this. If you record this, let's say something like this. Have the bass line, it's going to tell you what the chord is, where you go like, you know, and then maybe whatever. I just took the options, so like this seemed to make sense, you know. Then I could have gone and just ascended all of them. That'd be fine. Oops. Maybe just start over. And then maybe go to the C sharp there. So the first time it would just be like that. The second time, instead of the G sharp, you could go, you know, and then maybe like G sharp, C sharp to B. Or maybe even the G was the altered. That'd be cool. That'd be sick, dude. The G sharp would be the altered one. You know what's really nice about this? Check this out. This is fancy. Going from G with the altered one. If you go to an E, well, the third of the E chord is G sharp, which is going to sound minor, so we don't necessarily want it like that, but it's still implied. It's kind of like a hidden good voice leading. It's like, in a way, because you're kind of going from the root of the altered chord to the third of the next chord, except we're not going to play that note because it'll sound like minor if we're doing it in the root. Anyway, so then you'd have this, right? That's the first half. Second half. Start over. That was the G. That's the low note. Yeah, that's all I did the whole time. Just moving the bass note around. Oh, I'll change fingers, but I didn't change the notes. I'll change fingers to make them playable. So it's like I did this with an E, then the middle finger on the F sharp. Then on this, on the G sharp, I put my middle finger where my ring was and used my ring finger. Well, what I did after this was I just switched them back to where it was, so I put my middle finger on this. This is actually the same as what we did here, except instead of the F sharp, I'm doing the B. Just changing fingers to make it work, to make it playable. So yeah, the first one was this. That'd be the low notes. And the second one, you know, rhythmically you could do that a few different ways. 2, 3, and 4. You know, if it's like 1, 2, a whole measure, whole measure, whole measure. Maybe 4 measures, so you'd have. Like that if you wanted. If you do it that way, where you divide the fourth measure, like that would be the most consonant, because you're taking the most tense moment, that altered chord, and doing it for only 2 beats. If you wanted to be more tense, what you could do is you could sneak that B. You could kind of make it a passing tone at the end of the third measure. So you'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you get to hang out longer at that really cool, like kind of like Black Sabbath of jazz. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh, that's really cool. I'm gonna jazz second half again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Man, that's cool. That could be a hit if you record it. You know, record that like little arpeggiating type, like guitar, any way that you want. Then you could do just guitar if you got it handy, or if you own a bass, you could do that little thing with bass line. Record that next, and then you could practice, you know, soloing over it. It's an E major 7 to that F. Was it a sus of some kind, I believe? It's got a major third and a sus 4. So yeah, it says like it's right. It's an 11 with a 9. So you could treat that maybe either way, you know, with 11 or the 3. That'll be a little more outside probably. And then you got your G sharp minor, so you could then play just G sharp minor, easy. And then your B major. So it's like basically you could solo over it like this. We got your E major. To your F sharp. Or you could play a major triad. Because there it is in there. No 7 in there, but you could play it as a dominant one. And then G minor, or G sharp minor. To B major. You know, a little. So maybe play like this. You got your E to your F sharp to your G sharp minor. And then you got the B to E, F sharp to G sharp minor. Or no, that one we didn't do. That one was supposed to be the C sharp. So they'd be like dominant. You know, over that. Oop. Altered. There you'd want to use maybe G sharp altered. And that would resolve to the E. That would be really the coolest moment to me. You know, like you're playing this. Then you play to the E. Oops. So you're like, that's the weird one. That one, that's the one the book says works for the dominant, and it does work for it. But like if you look at it, it's got a 9, a 6, and a flat 7, and then up here it's got the 5th. So maybe you've got your 5th, your flat 7. It doesn't have a 3rd in it, you know, in this voicing. So you can still play it. But they do have a 2. So maybe you could play the 2 instead if you wanted to be more consonant with the chord itself. It'd be like... 6. So you could play like, you could take your, if you're going to play a C7 chord arpeggiated, you could change it to change the third to a 2 and add the 6. You play like, yeah, how I'm doing that is I'm using my index finger on the C sharp. And then I'm using my ring finger on the 5th. And then I go to my index finger on the 3rd fret. That's going to be the 6th. And I slide up to the flat 7. And then I've got the 4th fret of the B in high E. That's going to be the 5th and the 2 in the 5th, the 9 in the 5th. And then I use my ring finger on the 6. Oops. Cool. If I wanted to add to that even more, I could add the 2 here. I could add the flat 7 on top since it's already in our chord. Oops. Maybe a better sweeper than I. The hard part about sweeping it beat that starts off with 2 notes on 1 string as opposed to or whatever, that kind of. I mean, for that matter, you could add the octave. Obviously, what we're doing now is we're just filling it all in, leaving out the notes that's not in the chord. It's hard to do. Oops. Anyway, that would be the safest stuff over here. I mean, really all we did was we just played and left out the 3rd because there's no 3rd in this voicing. Unless you're super committed to that being a C7 chord. Then you can just throw that note and listen how that changes everything. Really changes it. Which is what we intended it to be all this time anyway, so. Yeah, anyway, you got your E major to your F sharp to your G sharp minor to B to E, F sharp, and then we had that C. That's to be really pretty. And then to the back to, or then it goes to that dark tone, the altered to the E. How awesome is that? This, I really like this here. This part where it goes from here to here to here. Well, that effectively is like. Millions of bucks. Yeah. Anyway, and so basically what we did is we created a chord progression by taking one shape and figuring out all of the possible chords you can make by simply changing the root. 4 of them we already knew, and 2 of them we didn't. Cool. So Yeah, pretty heavy stuff. You can do that with all of your chords. Obviously, it's quite a it's very, it's hard work thinking through. It's like a step by step, and it gets easier. And actually, it really does kind of help in a lot of ways. It helps you learn your intervals too. Obviously, other than the fact of just being a cool compositional tool. But do you have any questions? Yeah, I mean, like for example, not that this will be as cool, but just as an example, if you did the same thing with a D chord, like a cowboy style, you could go, all right, well, if the root was an E, and the bass was playing it, this has got the D is a 7, the index finger's on a sus, 4, the ring finger's on the 7 again, and then the high E string is second fret is going to be the 9, a 2. So like the 2 is good for sus and the 4 is good for sus. So this is a good E sus chord, E7 sus. Not likely something we would have thought of. So you could play it like this. That's me just going from E7 sus to I just went from sus to being not sus to E7. And then maybe you go to like you could go to an A7 over E. Or just over A, we want to resolve it. I'll do a regular A chord. So you have like that, you got your A7 sus, which is a D triad over the E. And then just unsussing it to an A. So imagine you have like you actually could have a bass line just switch static like that, because E is the 5th of A. So then you could be playing like you could play a D chord. By the way, if you could do it with this D chord, you can do it with any D chord. So you could play like, and then then you resolve that down, which in this case would be it was the A note that needs to go down, the A and the F sharp. So in this one, yeah, it was A and F sharp. What am I doing here? I feel like I'm missing something. The A, okay, yeah, the A goes down. Down 1 fret. There we go. Oh, now I see. Okay. And then the F sharp, which is here. That's got to go down 2. So it basically be like this. You have your D, and then A. That's really cool. Cool. And then that E probably doesn't sound very resolved over the A. I mean, it is, but it's second inversions were kind of outlawed back in the day for this. It doesn't sound really resolved. So you have your E, and then when you resolve it down, go to your A. Like a. Cool. But that's just like an example of like trying to take the same thing where we take another chord, find out what this root would be, and we only did one example. Like we didn't do what is F sharp a thing? F sharp, what does that make it become? F sharp it would make it like a D chord first inversion, really. If we're not looking at that as a root, but how the notes. Anyway, and then trying to like be creative and write a tune with it, So like you could play like and to and then to the A. That would be a hard way to play it. There. Oh, what am I doing there? Anyway, so you could do that. Anyways, cool, man. So that's the idea. You could take any chord and try applying different roots over it. We did it really systematically, right? We just took one note and went up the scale until we got all the notes and see what they became. But you could do it. You could do it more arbitrarily if you wanted. Like you could just play a chord you know, like a D, and go. Well, what if I make the low note B flat? This actually is pretty cool. Is a B flat major 7, sharp 5. It's like B augmented 7 chord, and that's used in like standalone. It sounds really far out. It's from the melodic minor mode, but it's used in like it's used as in a passing way. Like there's a song called "You Got a Friend in Me" by Randy Newman from Toy Story, and it's like. And then you got a friend in me. It goes into it, right? So what that is in the beginning is it's like an E triad, second inversion. So the low note's a B, and then you move that E triad in those 3 voices down a fret. So that those notes are all passing tones, but it becomes that chord that we just kind of learned as a just random arbitrary choice. And then he moves it down again, and that becomes a B minor 7. And see, the difference there is moving the high notes over the root. And what we're doing is different. We're moving the root over the low note rather over the high notes, the chord.